everybody. This is Shannon Churchwell, and in a few moments we will be interviewing Tom Steyer.
Hi, and I'm Miriam Gibson of the Village Voices. I'm excited because we are going to shortly receive a call from Tom Steyer, presidential candidate for 2020, and we want to share that with you. Okay? So we should be hearing from you shortly. I think the race is narrowed down to where it's about 5 candidates that's going to be on the stage tomorrow.
5 or 6.
Yeah.
I think Bloomberg announced today that he is going to be on the debate stage. So this will be the first time that Bloomberg actually is going to be on the debate stage since the whole primaries have begun.
Yeah, he finally found a way to wiggle his way on the stage with everybody. So we'll hear what he has to say. But as far as I'm concerned, he's said enough.
Yeah, he sure has said a mouthful.
Especially when he says how he slammed the young black boys boys of color against the walls, and how he treated them during the stop and frisk. And now he had the nerve to be trying to run for president. Please, I hope everybody's not fooled. Here's a call from Tom Steyer, okay? So listen in on the conversation.
Hello.
Hey Shannon, this is Yvette.
Hey.
How are you?
We ready to go? Good, how are you?
Ready to go. Okay, I'm going to pass over the phone to Tom, okay?
Awesome.
Thank you so much. Yeah, 10 minutes, okay? Thanks.
All right.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Hello, and welcome to
Hi, good.
Village
How are you?
Voices. Good, how are you?
Great.
This is Miriam Gibson.
And I'm Shannon Churchwell, and we're talking to Tom Steyer, 2020 presidential candidate. And we're just going to get into a few quick questions. I know that today is the last day to do some early voting in Nevada, and the caucus is on Saturday. But this is a candidate that you definitely want to look out for, and tell your family and friends across the country to keep an eye on Tom Steyer.
And
All
give
right,
him your support.
let's get into some questions. As far as your stance, Tom, or can I call you Tom or Mr. Steyer?
Absolutely. No, call me Tom. Everybody calls me Tom. Please do.
All right, Tom. I just wanted to know your stance on criminal justice reform. How do you see the federal government playing a role in stopping local state judges from unfair, excessive sentences on minorities? Because it seems to me that it's a violation of their 8th Amendment rights as far as cruel and unusual punishment.
So, let me say that, Shannon, the criminal justice system has racial bias in it, really from the very start to the very finish. We incarcerate people at a rate that's 7 times as high, literally 7 times as high as other advanced countries. And it's overwhelmingly focused on black and brown men. So, when we talk about reform of the criminal justice system, it starts with policing. It includes sentencing. It includes cash bail. You know, something that I've specifically worked to get removed in California successfully, so there's no more cash bail in California.
That's great.
Yes, which is a huge racial impact, because you can go to jail for months without ever having been convicted of a crime because you can't make bail.
Exactly.
But then you get to these sentencing situations, and it's, you know, you're talking about judges who are unduly harsh sentencing. But I think before you even get to the judges, you have the mandatory sentencing and the automatic sentence enhancements. Basically, rules insist on extremely harsh punishments with no flexibility for judges. So, to my mind, one of the first things that we need to do in the United States is get rid of these extremely harsh mandatory sentences. And an automatic sentence enhancer says that if you have a previous conviction, that your next conviction automatically has more time added onto it. Automatic.
Yeah, and it seems like such a violation of the 8th Amendment constitutional rights.
Oh, it's
These
definitely wrong.
excessive penalties.
Just so you know, that is something that I have specifically worked to get withdrawn in California, and it has been withdrawn. So in a funny way, what we're really talking about is a need to change
Now, we know that after the passage of the 1994 Crime Bill Act, there was massive incarceration of people of color and black Americans. Now, with the passage of the 2018 the First Step Act, there was a lot of holes in that. I mean, a lot of people trying to give praise to Trump for that, but yes, it has helped. But my question is, what would you do as a follow-up to fill in the holes that in areas that the First Step Act does not cover?
Yeah, Tom, where do we go from here after the First Step Act?
Well, in my opinion, we really should be rethinking the way we think about criminal justice completely. So, do I think that we should be changing the way we're sentencing? Of course I think we should be changing the way we're sentencing. We know there's racism in the way people get sentenced, but it starts so much earlier than that. From my standpoint, we need to change two huge things. One is we really need to break the school to prison pipeline.
Yes.
Exactly.
That means we really need to start with young kids much earlier than we do to make sure that they're on the right path and to support them on that path and to do everything we can to make sure they get there. And when I say early, the number one measure of how you're going to do in life and whether you're going to go to prison is your third grade reading comprehension level. So when you talk about breaking the school to prison pipeline, you start talking about supporting families and kids really, really early.
So do you support federal school choice vouchers? Because there are a lot of states where their school districts just don't seem like they can get it together. And how would you tackle that?
Well, let me start that I would have universal childcare, subsidized childcare for moms.
That's
awesome.
That sounds fantastic.
Then I'd be talking about universal pre-kindergarten.
Yeah.
Every kid, universal. It's critical. I mean, if you think about the idea that third grade reading comprehension is the key statistic, the key measure of how you're going to go, we can't start early enough. Then I think the next thing is really, I'm sure you guys are familiar with the idea of Title I, which is basically federal funds to equal the funding for low-income districts compared to high-income districts in schools.
Yes.
I would triple Title I funding. I think it's absolutely critical from the standpoint of justice, of fighting racism, of pushing for mobility in society, giving kids a chance to really make a difference. That I would triple the Title I funding and make sure that we're pouring money into support teachers and kids at the earliest levels, but all the way through to make sure that every kid has a chance to really get to his or her potential.
Okay, well, our next question is housing, because that leads into the housing.
It sure does.
There's a big, especially here, there's a big problem with homelessness.
And California, in different places in the country.
I mean, it's a massive amount. And because of the price of housing is so expensive, it's forcing a lot of people into the streets, families.
And it's disproportionately black and brown people.
Yes, it is.
But what concerns me, Mr. Tom, is that we're seeing the rise in homelessness among working class people and families. It's not just the mentally ill and the substance abusers. So my question to you is, how are we going to stimulate housing affordability? And also, what do you think we can do on a federal level to make home ownership a reality for more working class people? Because it seems like things have really changed over the years where the working class can't afford to buy their own homes anymore.
I completely agree. So let me talk about a few things that we can do. One is that we have to get away from the idea that the market's going to solve the affordable housing situation. The federal government got out of the housing business on the assumption that the market would provide. And we know we're 7 million units short across the country of affordable houses. And the market has not provided. So we just got to understand that was a lie. That was a lie from the Reagan administration. And we can see not only are we short units, but that the affordable housing units and the housing programs, if you go and look and see how the quality of the housing, it's deteriorated dramatically. So I would put more than $625 billion over 10 years into the existing housing programs, and I would put an additional $600 billion into affordable housing in a climate-smart way around the country. We're talking over $1 trillion to rebuild, to either renovate or build new housing units, because what we really have is a dramatic shortage of housing units across this country, because we assumed that somehow, magically, the market was going to build affordable housing units in urban America, and it absolutely 100% has not happened.
It hasn't. In fact, things have really, really skyrocketed. One of the things that
I do want to get to home ownership, you guys. I don't want to miss that.
Yeah, the home ownership is important.
So let me say this. You may not know this, but my wife and I started a community bank in California to support economic justice, environmental sustainability, and businesses owned by Black people, Latinos, and women. We started over 15 years ago. We started from scratch. It's over $1 billion now. It's a nonprofit bank, and it's supported over 8,500 affordable housing units in the last 3 years.
Wow.
That's fantastic.
But I just want to say, this is not a new issue for me. This is something where we've understood that the finance situation in America is deeply racist, and we were trying to go where they redlined, we wanted to greenline. Where banks refused to lend, we wanted to go in with money. But let me say, in terms of home ownership, you can't look at home ownership without seeing racism for generations. That has been the engine of American family wealth creation, because you buy a house, you get a mortgage, you pay down the mortgage, the house goes up in price. That's your money.
Yeah, and it creates
Blacks were
stability.
prevented from doing that.
Okay, now with the Section 8 program, I'm a realtor, and I have with the clients that I've worked with in the past, they have experienced a lot of discrimination from property management companies in accepting their vouchers. They charge them overpriced. They cut the number of days down to maybe 120 days if you don't find out. A lot of these people end up losing their vouchers, end up homeless, and sleeping in their cars because, but there's cause of discrimination against people with Section 8 vouchers. What would you do to change that?
I think that's got to be illegal.
It should be illegal.
We have got to people with Section 8 vouchers have got to be allowed to use those everywhere.
In addition, they charge them astronomically high application fees. And a lot of times they know they're not going to even accept their application, but they're charging these people money that they really can't afford.
And what they're trying to do, I believe, in those high application fees is really preventing them from applying.
Yes, that's what they're doing.
What they're really saying is, we don't want you, so we're going to create an artificial barrier to your ever getting this apartment or house by putting in an application fee that you can't afford, so that you won't even put in the application. That's what that is.
So you would, on a federal level, make it where perhaps if states are going to accept this program, they can maybe follow like Washington State's example for where they make it mandatory where people with 10 units or more have to accept the vouchers.
Absolutely.
Or just something like along those
Absolutely.
lines.
If you want to take the money, then you've got to obey the rules.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Look, we've seen but the overall point in this is we have way too few affordable housing units in this country. And the government has walked away from its responsibility in a base, housing determines where your kids go to school. Housing determines the air you breathe and the water you drink. Housing determines who you hang out with and how safe your streets are. Housing determines how long it takes to get to work and what kind of food you can buy in the local supermarket. It's incredibly important, and the government has walked away from its responsibility.
It's a basic necessity of life.
Basic point. And there's no way to think about public housing without seeing that it disproportionately affects Black people and brown people. So that the fact that the government doesn't care about it and is basically not paying attention to people has an overwhelmingly racist tinge to it, and it's got to be addressed.
And also the credit bureau, they're doing a lot of discrimination when it comes to people with their credit scores, whether or not they can get into properties to rent something. I mean, if you're low income, you're not going to have a perfect credit score.
And, that's why we started our bank, in all seriousness. We were looking at this and feeling, what can we actually do? People talk a lot. We've actually gone out and created a bank to put money into the community to support Black-owned businesses, to support affordable housing units, to really go in. We make every kind of loan
said often on your campaign is that you can beat Trump on the economy. He's touting that the economy is doing great. Unemployment is low across the board, especially for minorities historically. What would you do to some of those statistics people say is not has been manipulated because they're saying unemployment is low, but people are working
2 jobs.
Yeah, 2 and 3 jobs, or they're underpaid, or he's cutting a lot of people off of food stamps and just different things like that to manipulate those numbers. But how would you keep what is your vision for the economy and keeping it go?
The basic point is this. We have Mr. Trump's economy basically funnels all the money to rich people. That's the basic point. We have low unemployment, but it's $7.25 minimum. You can't afford to live on the wages. I've been for a $15 minimum wage now for 8 years, and actually I think the number should be 22. So
yeah,
I think
that's
the first
more
thing
realistic.
is the wages is. Secondly, I think the tax program he's put through is a huge giveaway to rich people and big corporations. I would undo that. I'd have a wealth tax. I would treat investment income like earned income, and I would give a 10% tax cut. A 10% tax cut to every American who makes less than $250,000. And lastly, we need to rebuild this country. I mean, we were talking about public housing. We need to rebuild this country across the board, and we create over 4.5 million good-paying union jobs across the country that would go to people in black communities, that would go everywhere. So we're talking about a completely different economy, an economy where people make more money, where we have a progressive tax structure so rich people start paying their way and corporations start paying their way, and where we're creating the biggest job program literally in American history. He's talking about cutting health care and Social Security for Americans. I'm talking about increasing wages, decreasing taxes, and creating millions of jobs. And I can do it because it's the federal government. I'm not promising it. We're going to do it.
That's fantastic. Also, now, marijuana is legalized in some states, but at the federal level, it's not legalized. And also, there's still a lot of people incarcerated as a result of that, when there's people there are a lot of people out there making millions of dollars off of that industry. What would you do? What is your thought about that?
I'm for the legalization of marijuana, full stop. I'm for letting everybody out of jail who's in jail for marijuana. I'm for expunging their records.
Fantastic. Yeah, that was my next.
There's some simple things in this world, and there's some complicated things. This is not a complicated thing.
Yeah.
Okay, and I just want to ask you one more quick question. You have not been afraid to talk about reparations. I've watched other candidates offer free health care for all Americans, free student college and loan forgiveness. Even one candidate was offering every American $1,000 a month. One candidate was offering $50,000 baby bonds. Everybody, but when it comes to reparations, people are like, oh, we don't know what that would look like. We don't know how we would pay for that.
Let's study it and all
I mean, and it seems like the other candidates can figure out how they can pay for all of these massive freebies, if you will. But for 360 million Americans, but for African Americans, they can't figure out how they can give us absolutely anything. And even Bernie Sanders is saying he's not for any financial reparations whatsoever. And what makes you so different than the other candidates, where you are like, hey, I acknowledge that reparations are needed?
Something happened. Something terrible happened. We've never even acknowledged it or apologized for it as a country. And I think that we need to, what I've said is I want a solution-based commission starting on day one of my presidency to tell the story of African Americans in America over the last 400 plus years about legalized injustice, cruelty, and discrimination, but also about the contributions to building the whole country and the moral leadership that the African American community has consistently produced for the entire country for generations and centuries. And I think we need to tell that story because reparations are due. I think we need to talk about exactly how to do it, and I don't want to impose that on people. I want that to be something that comes out of the story, that out of narrative comes policy. But acknowledge that something terrible happened and apologize for it and repair the damage. And that's what I'm talking about. And I think that is, unless we tell the truth about it together and repair it, I don't know how we move on as the kind of just society we claim we want to be.
Exactly, and it's not just about reparations. To me, isn't just about slavery. It's about the continual, repeated disenfranchisement, even to today, with the unfair prison sentences on African Americans. So this has been a continuous bias against us in this country for a long time. So I do appreciate the fact that you are about the only candidate that is willing to stand up and say that you're going to take some sort of action for that. Just to close.
Because I have to go, but let me say this. It's not time for reparations. It's way past time.
It's way overdue.
Yes.
Yes.
It's way overdue. All right, Mr. Tom, thank you so much. And just a quick note of why you're the best candidate to beat Trump in 2020, just to let our listeners know.
2 quick reasons. I'm the person who can kick his ass on the economy. Because I know I've spent 30 years in the private sector and I can do it, and I will stand up for the people on the economy. I told you my program, it actually works for people. And secondly, we need somebody who's going to represent every American. We need somebody who's going to represent black people. We need somebody who's going to represent Latinos and Asian Americans and Native Americans as well as white people. And I'm sick of the lip service. We can't just come around every 4 years as a Democratic Party and say, we're for you, and disappear for the next 4 years. It's time for somebody who's actually going to produce, and that's me.
All right,
We
thank you
sincerely
so
appreciate
much.
you, and thank you from the Village Voices.
Thank you guys for
And
having me.
good luck on your campaign. We're rooting for you.
Thank you very much. I so appreciate it. Talk to
Take
you
care.
soon.
Bye bye.
Thank you. Okay, so we just interviewed with Tom Steyer, presidential candidate for 2020, and you heard what he said. You heard directly from him, his campaign, and I think he addresses a lot of the issues that are concerned of the African American community.
And really all demographics. Look, the Democrats have one shot at making Trump a one-term president. You know, we don't need to have Hillary Clinton 2.0.
No.
You have if Hillary Clinton was thrown under the bus for her supporting the criminal justice bill, but yet Biden gets a pass, Bernie gets a pass. Why? Because they're men. Why was Hillary thrown under the bus? She wasn't even in elected office. Yes, she was married to the president, but the people who had voting power and the power to make that happen, why do they get a pass?
I mean, Bernie Sanders voted for the 1994 crime bill.
Bloomberg, does he get a pass?
Oh, Bloomberg is horrible. All the things how he treated these young men of color when he was in office, what about 17 years?
And
Threw him up against the wall and think it's justified?
And people that are sitting in jail for excessive sentences off of things like marijuana, that is a violation of their Eighth Amendment rights. That is totally cruel and unusual punishment for a crime.
So why would we continually put somebody in office that represents this disparagement? I mean, it doesn't make any sense at all. We need some new blood.
And another thing, we do need and you know, I'm just going to break it down to you, to be honest. Biden did not carry himself well during the campaigning. Telling voters to go vote for somebody else. Telling a voter to go vote for Trump. Do you really think that Trump isn't going to use that when he's fighting against him in the general? Can you imagine ads running with Joe sniffing people's hair, clips of him saying go vote for Trump, clips of him calling a town hall goer fat? Are you really going to bet the family farm on a candidate like that?
Well, that's my
participation
It's
important because you can't just think that people are just going to fall in line and vote blue no matter who.
Well, no, I don't suggest that people just vote blue no matter who. We got to vote on the issues and the candidate that best represent the issues that are major concern to us as people of color.
And people, you can't pretend as though you can have a lot of great ideas, but if you're not willing to carry yourself properly and be able to interact with the public appropriately, and you're representing the United States as a president, then that candidate is no better than Trump.
Yeah, well, we'll see how he represents the United States.
So, I mean, no matter if you think Trump has good ideas or whatever, from my Republican friends, how he carries himself and represents the country is just, he refuses to take any critique from. I'm sure he has advisors trying to tell him. Now, as far as Bernie is concerned, we can't do what the Republicans failed to do, which is repeal and replace Obamacare. The Democrats fought like hell to get Obamacare. Now you want it replaced?
What makes him any better than the Republicans?
What you're trying to accomplish what the Republicans weren't able to do. America is about freedom, so people should be free to choose their own health care. I do believe in having the public option, and I think it's very noble what Bernie's trying to do with the Medicare for all. I think that that's very noble. But the bottom line is you can't take the freedoms away from everyone. We fought like hell to get Obamacare, and now we want to do what the Republicans can't do, repeal and replace it.
What we need is for the Obamacare to be modified. Clean up all the problems that they are having with that. It's not a perfect, but it's better than what we had before they passed it. I can tell you that much.
And, we need someone as a candidate that is experienced on a grassroots level. Tom Steyer knows what the public is wanting and needing because he's worked on the grassroots level. He's not in a fishbowl like these elected officials that's running with their heads in the clouds. He actually has his feet on the ground, and he is among the people, and he knows what people are wanting and needing. And we need someone who is a nice mixture of progressive, conservative, moderate, somebody who is pragmatic, not somebody that's extreme. These polar extremes is ruining this country on both sides of the aisle.
Tom Steyer not only talk the talk, he walks the walk, okay? Especially when him and his wife established that Beneficial State Bank, which is a nonprofit in California, allow people the opportunity to become homeowners. He's been working in the grassroots level for over 10 years. He's a billionaire, and he chooses to take his time and his money and help with the underprivileged people in this country.
So, here in Nevada, today is the last day to vote, and the early voting Saturday is the caucus. Please, be wise. You have to think about who is most likely going to be able to hold up in the general election against